So for the longest time, I've been an avid fan and nerd of the Outlast franchise, and it's been like that since I was maybe around 13 years old. And 5 years later, I'm still a nerd of the Outlast franchise, and throughout those 5 years, I've been playing Outlast 1 and 2 back to back, and also unlocking every single achievement on Outlast 1 in 2022. I don't know why it took me so long, I procrastinated a lot, but I eventually done it. But nevertheless, this is not what this is about. So if you've seen my TikTok, which I doubt you have, it's very small, feel free to give it a follow, it's linked to my channel. I post just about anything, memes, gameplay videos, etc. But you may notice that I'm all about realism and immersive experiences. I am also a Milsim player, but I'm not trying to make Outlast a bloody Milsim game. But ever since I got into that genre, I noticed that there were elements of Outlast that was not too realistic, such as the enemies would not try as hard to kill you. Like, they wouldn't sprint towards you, they'd more so jog. They're a bit faster in Nightmare mode, but they are slow compared to the player. The player movement also wasn't as realistic, the running was too slow, the crouch walking is also too fast. So after scrolling through Nexus.com, and I saw multiple Outlast mods that tried to make the game realistic, I watched these mods on channels like Phalexless, Moth, and Mr. Crypt, and I noticed that these mods don't really make the game as realistic, they just make the game as hard as possible without making it as hard as, I don't know, Insane Plus, Extreme Plus. So after a bit of brainstorming, I decided to make my own mod, which changes the player speed, changes the enemy speed, it also changes the loading screen. Have a look. So, I would like to introduce to you Outlast Realism is an attempt to make the game as immersive, adrenaline boosting, and realistic as possible. So, let's see the changes that I've made. In the base game, Miles Upsher's speed is, for a lack of a better word, slow. His running speed is a good example of how people run in their dreams. In the first Outlast trailer, Miles almost seemed like an athlete. He'd run full pelt through a hallway while being chased by Chris Walker, plus the adrenaline that's going through his veins. While this may be an animated trailer, it genuinely felt like that Miles was actually running for his life. So, to capture that fast-paced feel in the first trailer, I decided to change Miles' speed from around 450 to 600. I did try 650, but it felt too fast and it didn't match his running animation. But 600 is just that sweet spot and it just matches his running animation. But you can always change his animation speed by using the picker mod. The reason I originally went with 650 was because it was the same running speed as Blake Langerman in Outlast 2. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you his running speed, his crouch speed, and his walking speed. So those are the several tweaks I've made to Miles Upsher. I've also made several other tweaks such as his FOV and his battery count. This mod is actually meant to be played on Nightmare difficulty. If you do play it on normal difficulty, just so you know, the enemy speed will either be too fast or too slow, because I was experimenting with the speeds on both difficulties, but primarily Nightmare mode. So now we move on to enemy speed, starting off with Ah, yes, Chris Walker, the dude that I literally have nightmares about. This is a modded model of Chris Walker. It brings back his demo model from the PAX East 2013 demo. I'll link the mod in the description, but without further ado, let's show you his speed. Pretty terrifying, right? Well, I found it terrifying. I was absolutely pissing myself when I saw Chris speed walking after me and still being able to catch up. I was genuinely scared that he was going to grab me and rip my head off despite me being in God mode. I did have to use God mode just to showcase how fast they were, because, I mean, Chris kills you in one shot, and if he gets an opportunity to fully catch up to you, he'll just grab you and rip your head off. The War Rider is faster than you, so he'll just kill you in one shot if you mess up even once. Like, after recording the chase with the War Rider, I turned off God mode just to see if he could catch up and kill me if I don't know, climb over a barrel, which indeed happened. And Richard Traeger was just as terrifying. The reason why I decided for him to bash the door down within 2 hits, because I feel like it is in character for him. Like, when he discovers that Miles has left his torture room, he gets really pissed off and says,
Fuck! Fuck, really? You're gonna walk on me? If there's one thing I cannot goddamn stand, it's a quitter! Come on!
So after hearing that dialogue, I always thought that if he was that pissed that Miles left the torture room, he would try as hard as possible to kill Miles. But also, you have to think, all those variants that he captured and tortured, he couldn't have been such a pushover as he is in the base game. Trying to catch about 20 or more dudes and strapping them to a bed without any assistance whatsoever. Hell, even catching one bloke is hard, but 20 dudes? You have actually got to be mental to pull that off. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't expect it to be this long, but I wanted to make a more in-depth video on why I made this mod. Unfortunately, I can't really make the AI as smart as I want them to be, since you can only edit their speed, sight, hearing, and the investigation weight. I wouldn't say this mod is perfect. Don't think it is. There's probably someone that can do it better than me, but this is my attempt. You can still dodge most of the enemies, and despite me changing the probability of them discovering a player under a bed or inside of a locker, I still haven't had them discover me while playtesting. So this mod is going to be quite easy for speedrunners maybe. But anyway, I'll leave the mod link down in the description and you can test it for yourself, and I hope you bloody enjoy it. Right, toodaloo, motherfuckers.